Welcome to the Sextracurricular Podcast. This podcast covers the opinions and personal experiences from a married couple of over a decade, exploring the ethical, consensual, sexual non-monogamy lifestyle. This is an 18-plus, adults-only podcast as it contains explicit content, and it is not meant to be taken as professional or legal advice. Please listen at your own discretion and enjoy the show. Well, hello and welcome to the Sextracurricular Podcast. This is James.
And I'm Mirage.
And we're here to talk to you about sex, as bluntly as we can put it. We're a married couple. We've been together for over a decade. And at the start of this year, we started exploring this E&M lifestyle. And it's just been a whole different thing than what we're used to. We're shocked at how much fun it is. Yeah. How much fun it is and how closed-minded I thought I at least was prior to all this. Like if you had asked me a year ago, I never would have thought we would have done anything like this. We started our relationship
very monogamous.
Yeah, very monogamous, very religious, as former Christians.
That's like a whole other thing
it's a whole new episode.
To talk about.
Yeah. We'll talk about that at a later episode.
Yeah. But E&M, ethical non-monogamy, we started like, I don't know, we met when we were 18 and we've been together since. Mm-hmm. We've always had a great sex life.
Yeah, that's something I can't complain about. That's been phenomenal.
That's
good. Yeah.
We just always have been big on communication, and like nobody can do anything for you if you don't tell them what you need. So we told each other what we needed, and after our 10-year anniversary, James was like mentioning this thing that he was kind of fantasizing about him watching me with another person. And I was like, okay.
Well, did you react that way, like immediately?
I wanted to support you. It was like different just because I had never in our time together had I felt unsatisfied with our relationship or our sex life. So it just, like, my mind didn't wander anywhere like that just because I was always satisfied. And it was just completely new territory because, I don't know, later as it kind of sank in, like, he wants to watch me have sex with somebody else. Mm-hmm. It was hard to process the logistics of that, and then also, like, is he just saying this because he wants to have sex with somebody else? Like, So, yeah, it was like a roller coaster. We've talked about this a lot, between the two of us, but, yeah, there was a lot of like, I just wanted to support you. I wanted to hear you out and be like, what exactly, what does this mean? Like, what would James get out of this? And yeah.
I think it might be helpful for them to know how things started, because it wasn't just like all of a sudden.
Yeah, so he wasn't just like, hey babe, I want to see you fuck another guy. It was a gradual, I mean, do you want to talk about,
I can talk
like,
about the background of it,
how it came up?
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier, we have like a former religious background, and in 2020 we had finalized the deconstruction process where we no longer identified with that faith and just kind of set ourselves free from a lifestyle that we were both extremely and heavily involved in. So to go from that, I'd say that was probably the start of our minds and just sort of our lives being reclaimed back to us, because the whole premise of what we believed in was, oh, we're doing this for someone else, or everything we're doing was for a greater purpose. And so it was one of those things where at the end of that, we were like, no, you know what? We're in control of our lives and we set the directions of where we want to go. That was the start of it, I think, for me, as far as I'm the one in control and I get to do what I want, or at least what we want in our relationship, and not have that be like for someone.
It's for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 2020. And then, like Mirage mentioned earlier, our sex life has just been phenomenal from the get-go. That's just been awesome. And I think a lot of that is attributed to just how open we've been about everything from the beginning.
Yeah.
I like this. I don't like that. Let's try this. If it doesn't work, we just kind of keep moving on. We don't let that be an awkward sort of thing in the middle.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's just so many problems that we've heard about, like with, I don't know, in the Christian community that we were a part of, or just friends, or, like problems in marriages or relationships where, you're struggling with your sex life, and it's like, well, have you talked about that? Have you said, I don't like it when you do X, Y, or Z, or whatever? If you don't talk about anything, like, I don't know, life's too short to have bad sex. Like, just say what you need.
That should be the quote for this podcast. Life's too short to have bad sex.
Like, I don't know. And I think we've also been very open to each other, like created a supportive environment where we both feel comfortable being like, hey, let's try this and just see what happens. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always been something where if any one of us had an idea about something that we were just feeling either in the moment or we were thinking about for days on a time, we would always just bring it up and be like, what do you think about this? Or can we try this?
I mean, even sometimes like in the moment where it's like, I'm going to try this. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And if we're not feeling like when you wanted to start having anal sex, I was like, what? And now I'm like, booty queen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're a pro.
But like, yeah, we just felt comfortable and we had the trust between us to explore.
Yeah.
And now we've explored a lot with each other. And now we're looking to explore with some other people.
Yeah. So yeah, that was 2020. We had started that we had finished that deconstruction process, and fast forward to our 10-year anniversary, I felt like by the time we got to that 10-year mark, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good of a 10 years this has been. Just being together with my best friend.
Double digits.
Yeah, and we're at like the double digits mark. And so it was really cool. It was really significant for me. Not that I didn't think we would ever make it that far. It was just nice knowing that by year 10, everything was just as solid, if not better than it was from day one. And I think that just made me feel so confident and made me feel so good about us. And when that happened, I feel like I had let go of a lot of insecurities and even some control or controlling sort of parts of my personality. Where, early on, the only person I wanted to spend time with was you. And any time that you had to do something, even something as simple as like, oh, I have to work, or I have a lunch date with this person, or I have a training session with so-and-so. I would always be like, well, in the back of my outward, I would be like, yeah, sure. You do what you got to do. In the back of my mind, I'd be like, no, I want to spend more time with you.
I wouldn't call that controlling though. You wanted to be with me. We were in love or we are in love. Sorry. Didn't mean for that to sound. Didn't mean for that to sound like past tense only. Right. But when you told me that you felt like you were, I don't know, you thought of yourself as controlling, I was so shocked because I never would have put that adjective to you at all, like the controlling thing. Like I don't know, when you're, especially in like the honeymoon phase, it's like all you want to do is spend time with each other, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't call that controlling if you were like, no, you can't go to that party because I want to be with you instead, or you can't have friends, or you can't see your family. Like, that's not okay. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
That's all right.
So you let go of all of these
I just let go
feelings.
of it, yeah. Because I came to a realization myself of what was there to worry about? Why did I waste so much brain space and brain power on insecurities and what I had thought was any opportunity that would happen or any circumstance that would happen that would make you love me less or make you want me less? And so I just let go of it. I was like, this isn't even a thing, so why bother?
So from that point to, like, did you have a plan to tell me? Like when did this thought come up about, like, you let go of these insecurities, and then it wasn't instantly like, I want to see your fucking dude.
No. Just exactly with that voice too.
I don't know why I give you this voice. You don't sound anything like that. But like, it wasn't an instantaneous thing.
It wasn't. It was a very like even the letting go part of it was, I think, 10 years in the making. It took that long for me to feel comfortable enough to let go, or confident enough to let go of these things that were holding me back, I think. At least just mentally. But then it's still, where I'm at now is still different than that picture of that 10-year mark where I had let go of these thoughts and things that were holding me back mentally. So that was like step 2. Step 3 was probably, we'd introduced toys in our sex life.
Yeah.
And that was fun. that was a lot of fun.
It was,
because our sex life was already great to begin with. So to, like, what more could we possibly add to, like, even enhance it that much more?
Well, I think we probably didn't explore toys because, I don't know, not like toys are just to help something that needs fixing, but I don't know, we've always had fun and explored and done different things. I don't know, toys just never came to my mind. I never had a vibrator until you bought me one. And I was like, this thing. Hello.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we introduced toys and, well, no, because you had bought us the that like crystal dildo.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
I did.
And, like several years back, and I saw it and I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
And there's no way I can do that.
I don't think we were ready for that. Or just even toys in general. Just it had brought up a lot of other feelings that were just in general. Like I don't think we were at a point where we felt comfortable using sex toys. Only because like our sex life was so good to begin with. It was like, what's the point? We didn't really
understand.
Yeah.
We didn't understand.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad.
So we introduced toys, and then you started thinking, what if this wasn't a toy?
That's where the idea, sort of the inception of the idea started. Where it was like, I had already let go of these insecurities of what were holding me back, what was holding me back at the time, and we introduced these toys, and I was like, what would it be like if there was another person in the bedroom with us? With the toys, we were like exploring like double penetration and stuff like that, and I was thinking, hey, this would be hot to have like another guy in here, and like both of us tag team with Mirage. And then those fantasies just would play over and over and over and over in my head. And I would get completely turned on by it.
While we were having sex, or just in general?
Just in general. Yeah, not just having sex, but like even afterwards. Mm-hmm. And because of how turned on I was like, shit, I think I'm into this. Mm-hmm. And so by that point, it was December of 2021. Mm-hmm. And that's when I came out to you and I said, hey, I think I want you to be a hot wife.
And I had never heard that term before.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was either. When I was, the first thing I looked up, or the first thing I wanted to do was figure out, are these fantasies even normal?
Is this a thing?
Is this even a thing? 'Cause
Yeah.
am I just being weird? Am I just being stupid? Or am I just being, I had so many questions.
Yeah.
I had so many questions, and like, I just wanted to make sure there was legitimacy in what I was feeling, and that it wasn't being caused by some root, childhood experience or some psychological thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I was fine.
You're fine.
Okay, that's good.
I am not a psychiatrist or a psychologist or anything. But anyway, sorry. Carry on.
So I brought it up to you after doing some of my own research. Mm-hmm. And we had learned that the term hot wife meant that you could have any sexual partner with or without me. Mm-hmm.
Which is different than the cuckolding.
Yeah, that was the first thing I looked up.
So the first thing that came up, because I don't know, there's not a ton of resources out there about this. Like hot wife is kind of a newer term, I think. And it's more associated with the cuckolding, that's like the humiliation aspect of it. And you're not into that.
Yeah.
And I'm not into that.
Yeah.
So.
The first few like resources that I found define cuckolding as having some humiliation part of it, where I would sit in a corner, you would get fucked by someone else, and then degrade me or compare.
The other guy would degrade you.
Right, or compare the experience that you were having at that time with me, and then say, oh, this is so much better. And I just wasn't into that.
Yeah, that's not for us.
No.
And then, so the hot wife thing we learned was more like the sharing aspect of it, which I guess you can kind of, I don't know, I guess there's multiple definitions or like conditions that could work for that hot wife term. But for us, it was sharing, you sharing me with other partners.
Correct.
And both or either participating or just watching.
Correct.
And then you also extended that to like, you can just hook up with somebody and just let me know later.
Right.
Or just have a great time.
And that came from what I said about the 10-year mark, where I had let go of all these ideas that I had, and
jealousy.
Yeah. And it just got to a point where it's like, why am I going to limit the amount of potential fun you can have? Like, you and I have established such a great sex life to begin with up to this point. Mm-hmm. So why am I going to get in the way of your, not happiness, but your access to pleasure? Mm-hmm. And so I felt comfortable at that point to be like, if you want to, I don't know, if you're at work and you meet someone that you're attracted to, or, you have a friend that you really want to just try a friends with benefit situation with alone without me, I felt comfortable, like, yeah, go for it. So, yeah.
So from there, you brought it up to me. Mm-hmm. I remember we were sitting right here.
Yeah, we were.
And I don't know, what do you remember about my response? What sticks out the most?
Well, I think
I make a silly face?
I did it at a good. I think I did it at a good point in our conversation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't bring this up to your partner just like in the throes of passion.
That's the worst. That's the worst possible time to do that.
Be prepared to, like, you did your research and everything, but
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
I just came out and said it.
Yeah.
I just came out and said it. We had a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm.
We were having a good conversation. I forget about what exactly, but
I think we were just catching up because we didn't really have. We're very busy.
Yeah, during the week it's like
12-hour
days, probably more.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of time to like sit and decompress and just kind of catch up beyond like, how was your day, sweetie? You know. Why are you laughing?
Because that voice again.
I'm sorry. I don't know what voice I have many voices.
I
know. Yeah, so I think we were just sitting here having a drink and just talking about everything. And then somehow that morphed into you telling me you want to see me have sex with another guy.
Yep.
But what was the thing that you remember the most about my reaction?
That you were okay with it. That there wasn't oh my gosh, why would you think such a thing? Like you didn't shoot me down, which is probably one of the biggest fears that I had. Mm-hmm. Like, and I was expecting, like I said early on, when we started our relationship with a very strict monogamous sort of setup. There was never at any point in our relationship where I had thought, oh, I want to expand this to playing with other people and having sex with whoever we want or having like an open marriage. Like I never thought I wanted to do such a thing. And
that comes from how we were raised and, you know, certain values instilled in us. Yeah. Like that just wasn't an option that I knew was there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't shoot you down.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I was worried about, where one of the options as I was playing through every single scenario in my head was you just shooting it down and be like, why would you think such a thing? And then having that whole conversation turn into an argument of, you know, why are you like this or whatever, or worse, me coming to you with this idea and it would completely shatter the 10 years that we've built together, where here we've had what I consider an amazing relationship, and for me to just all throw it away because I had thought of this idea. And that's not even like cheating on you. I think the reaction I was expecting was as bad as if I had cheated on you. Like
you came to me and said, no, I cheated on you. Sorry, I keep giving you that voice.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was so cool that you were so comfortable with me to say something that is kind of taboo, you know? That's not something people talk about. I mean, even with our friends, I didn't go to any of my friends and be like, oh my gosh, I had the best sex with James last night. Like, I didn't talk to my friends or anybody about my sex life anyway, so I don't know. I was open about it with you, and I thought it was so cool that you were just comfortable to bring up something. I mean, I don't know. It comes from that safe, supportive environment anyway, and we communicate and we try new things. And I was like, all right, let's figure out what this looks like. You know, let's talk about this. And it was very, I don't know. I felt like I think I did a good job listening.
You did a wonderful job.
Listening and hearing you out. And
was any part of you like completely just shocked out of your mind, or like, you know, worried that if my husband is bringing this up to me now, like, what kind of things has he looked into to feel comfortable to bring this up to me or anything like that?
I wouldn't say shock. I mean, like I mentioned before, I think the thing that it was hard for me to wrap my head around something like that, because it felt like, okay, well, if he is giving me the opportunity, like it's a gift, here, you sleep with other men, it's because he wants me to reciprocate and say, I give you permission to sleep with other women. Like, it's like you're only doing this because you want something from me type of thing. And that's not how it was. You know, it's just, if you're into something and I'm not, then, well, we don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's still, I mean, consent is still a thing. Like, we want to participate in whatever type of extracurricular activities that work for both of us and not just one or the other.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I know. And I trust that if I said something was uncomfortable for me, you'd be like, all right, that's enough then. Don't worry about it. And then we would just move on, you know? So yeah, I wouldn't say I was shocked at all. I was just I guess kind of like what you initially thought, like, what is this? Is this a thing? Like, how does this work? Where does this come from? What do you call it? You know, like looking into the hot wife thing. And you sent me podcasts and, you know, we tried looking for resources, which, we listened to the Raw Latina podcast and Authentic Hot Wife. And those were
extremely helpful.
Very, very helpful.
Yeah.
I wanted to normalize it. I wanted to be like, you like this? You know, let's figure out how we can, make this desire or a fantasy a reality, you know, and then we had a lot of different conversations over the next, I mean, we just were thinking about it all the time. Like, what does this look like? And how do we make this happen logistically? And, you know, what steps should we take to protect our relationship? You know, like, we need to set boundaries. We need to, I don't know. We checked in with a sex positive therapist, and I said we should do this regularly, just like you would get a checkup for your physical health. You know, we want to make sure our sexual health individually, but as well as in our relationship, is safe and healthy, and we're communicating what we're supposed to be communicating, and I don't know, if you do that stuff, then you don't have to worry about things and you can have more fun. So
what you asked earlier, what's one of the biggest things I remember from your reaction? And the biggest thing I remember was just me bringing this idea up had brought up so much conversation that I thought we would never have about our wants, our desire, like, and by this point, you and I have already had so many conversations about everything. I mean, just about everything I can think of.
Within the territory that we've been operating in for the last 10 years. Now there's this new space that we're like, what is this? And it's really cool that we have that to explore together. And so many more topics of conversation have come up.
I remember staying up late that night because we were just talking about logistics and how this came about to be and how do we make this happen. And
what are you afraid of? Yeah, we talked about everything.
And I think that was really nice for me because, one, I wasn't shot down, but two, I had your support, even though I don't think you were fully on board yet.
I would agree with that.
I think you still needed to research on your own.
Yeah.
The same way that I had done prior to even bringing the idea up to you to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I was 100%, I want to support him, but I just needed information. I just needed to not be ignorant about this new type of lifestyle that I just never learned about. And I mean, that takes time. And also, like, I know how I would react emotionally to certain things within the territory that we've been operating in. But now that I'm in this new space with you, I had to really dive deep to, like, understand and anticipate, like, okay, I might have different boundaries under these terms, like I just really needed to like do some internal questioning and exploration and everything first before I could really 100% say yes. And I mean, less than 100% is a no. So that's, you wouldn't, and I know you and your personality, you wouldn't move forward with anything if you didn't think I was giving you 100% yes.
Right.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was just nice because we had left that conversation as like, okay, like even just the conversation itself, let's just say we didn't even act on it whatsoever. We just...
Our foot's in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had unlocked this new realm of potential conversations to have that were outside of our reach with the setup that we had prior to this, as far as our relationship goes.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we unlocked a different type of energy as well, because and we'll go into this in future episodes, like with our actual encounters with people. But I feel like there was this new sexual energy that we hadn't tapped into before. So after having that first conversation, hey, I want you to be a hot wife. Like when we had sex after that, we were like talking dirty and like fantasizing together about what we might want to do, and it just like there's this anticipation like building up, and it was hot.
Yeah.
It was really fun, and that helped me like picture more. I don't know if it was like I just wanted you to be okay. I didn't want you to say, I want you to do this, and then at some point we get there and I'm doing it, and you're like, no, stop. and then I have this terrible, regret and guilt. Like, what have I done? Like, I hurt my spouse and my best friend. And so I just wanted to, I guess, give us both time and space, but then also in the safety of our already, our solid foundation together, explore in our sex life, like talking about, and we were using our toys, and it was fun.
It was like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we left that conversation, and then to get to where we are now still took some time.
Yeah.
It took a lot of additional conversations on top of the actual encounter itself with someone to fully unlock this next phase of life that we're in, I think. But I think I might want to reserve those for a later episode.
Yes.
Okay.
So this episode, for all of you listening, I guess that's a good introduction about our relationship and where we started with the sexual non-monogamy, like just the idea. How did we bring it up between the two of us? And then, we can talk more about like our next steps, beyond the conversations, like the dating apps and sexting with strangers and then meeting somebody in person, and yeah. And then later on, I mean, like telling our friends.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And just wanting somebody close to us to open up about this. I mean, you're my best friend. So I can talk to you about anything, but just to have someone else that I can be like, I had a great time with this person, and it wasn't James. Before we finish up, though, I feel like there's an important part of this whole thing that we didn't mention, which is the whole point of the hot wife thing is to enhance our relationship And yeah, there's all of this fun and anticipation and like sexy tension that goes into these encounters with other people. But the biggest part of it for us is when we get back together after.
Yeah.
The sex we have afterwards is very different.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
We can talk about that more, but
Yeah. I think it just like the quick summary version of it. When I was doing my research on hot wifing, the scenario that I most identified with was you getting to have sex with whoever you wanted, and then us having sex afterwards. Doesn't necessarily have to be like right afterwards, but just at some point after that initial encounter with someone.
Yep.
That there's this whole like reclaiming process that needs to happen where you and I just come back together and just have incredible sex. And that's exactly what happened. Like our sex life was already phenomenal to begin with, but it was that much more phenomenal, at least after our first time we did this encounter. But that was the whole premise. It was always to enhance something that was already solid to begin with.
Yes.
It was never
We weren't trying to fix
No.
anything
No.
or, yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say that's probably the biggest piece of advice we can give whoever's listening is if there are issues or anything like that in a relationship or in a sexual relationship with, you know, whoever your significant other or significant people are. I personally wouldn't recommend this lifestyle to them if it's strictly to quote unquote fix something about the relationship.
Yeah.
Just because of how
You can't, I mean, the amount of communication that goes into a successful relationship, or I should say successful communication in a successful relationship, just with two people, it's just hard work. It's hard work. So when you add more people to that equation, it's more work, you know? Like if there's 3 people, there's 3 relationships there.
Yeah.
A and B, B and C, C and A, you know, like, so there's more individual boundaries and expectations that need to be addressed, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations you have to have. But I mean, if you can do that work and just be open, then you can have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I think that's probably a good place
Yeah,
to stop the first episode. And yeah, we went through a lot. I hope it wasn't too much or too fast, but yeah, James and I would love to have feedback if there are any
if anyone has any questions
or comments, or what do you want us to talk about next, or resources. Yeah, any of that. You can email us. Do you want to?
Yeah, your email is mirage@sextracurricular.com. Mine is james@sextracurricular.com. That's extracurricular with an S in front of it.
Yes. So if you have questions for me or for James or both of us, you can email us and we can address it in a future episode. We can do it anonymously. You know, we are not going to mention your name if you don't want us to. And yeah, we'd love to talk to other people about this, because we don't have that many people to talk to about it, just because it's kind of a taboo thing, and hopefully it's not going to be that way for a long time.
Yeah, I think the purpose of this podcast is essentially going to be
awareness,
talking about our experiences, any advice that we can give as what I consider a solid relationship.
Yeah.
And then to be a platform for those listening that are just seeking additional people to connect with on that level.
Yeah.
That's something I'm excited about, this particular podcast. So yeah, feel free to email us if there are any questions, and we will chat with you guys soon.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.